What is up, fight fans? Maddie Levine back here for the 1-2 punch. Always giving you the most exciting interviews with your favorite fighters, talking about the MMA game. So make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. But today, I'm actually really excited about this interview because it's a little different. He's not necessarily a UFC fighter, but he deals with all of the UFC fighters. And I'm talking about Figueiredo. I'm talking about Chimaev, Yan, all of the big names. He's the guy that makes them look fresh in the cage by giving them the fresh lineup. Let me introduce you to Jay Santiago, the official barber of the UFC. Thank you so much for being here, Jay.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really, happy to be here. Thank you so much, and I'm ready. I'm ready to talk.
Let's go. Putting down the clippers, and we're gonna talk today.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to learn more about you because it's not every day that a barber gets to work at the UFC. So tell me a little bit how that relationship started.
Well, it's a crazy story. It's just crazy story. I live here in Las Vegas. As you know, they got the UFC PI here in Las Vegas. It's crazy because I was not a fan of the UFC. I was more like a boxing fan. And I started cutting hair a long time ago, right after I got out of high school. But long story short, one of the UFC fighters contacted me. And it's crazy because he's also a barber. I don't know if you guys knew. It was his first UFC fight as well. So he just had, he just got signed as well. I believe his name is, it's a long time. It's
That's right.
TJ Loramain, I believe his name is. He's from Canada. And he's a barber as well. So he contacted me. He's like, yo, I'm going to be in Las Vegas. I got a fight. It's my first fight in the UFC. So can you cut me up? I'm like, let's do it. I was nervous because, first of all, he's a barber. Second of all, he's a fighter. So I was like, ooh, if I mess up that hair, I don't know what's going to happen, And, he's the one that introduced me to all the UFC. He kind of told me, like, yo, we got the PI here. You got to contact all the fighters. They always need a haircut to look good. And that's where it all started. It all started there. It took me one fighter, after that 2, 3, 4, and it kept going. Now I've done over 150 fighters.
Wow. And when did this start? When did you start doing this? Do you remember?
This was probably like 2 years ago, I believe. It was.
Oh my goodness.
I believe it was right before Figueiredo and Brandon, the first fight. So that was, I believe, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. So that was around that time when I started cutting all the UFC guys.
That's incredible. When you first started cutting hair, did you ever expect your life to be like that?
No, it's crazy. I always thought, cutting hair was just a normal thing, just come to the shop, get a haircut, until I started doing, it's crazy because my first celebrity or fighter, it was a UFC fighter. So I think that was my little lucky kick, that I started doing celebrities, rappers, fighters, boxers right after him. So it's crazy. It's definitely a cool experience. Every guy is so different, and it's not what you see on TV. The way you see the guys is like, this guy's crazy, but once you get to meet them in person, is definitely there. I always say, you guys are like big bears. You guys are just like sweet, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. I never thought, a fighter would be so, you know what I mean?
Right. I saw you doing Volkanovski recently, and I couldn't help but chuckle because I'm like, this dude doesn't have much hair to work with. Like, how are you going to line someone up like that?
It's crazy because I've been cutting Volkanovski way before he even had hair. When he had hair, I used to do, fade him up and everything. So when he lost his hair, when he took his hair off, I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to be able to clean him up. But no, I'm like, he still likes my service. He likes the whole facials. I don't know if you've seen, I do facials. I try to change the game a little bit, not just the haircut. I always tell him it's not just the haircut, it's an experience.
That's awesome. So what got you into being a barber in the first place? It doesn't sound like it was the UFC. So no. How'd you get into it?
It was actually my father. He was a barber himself. So it's in the family. My brother's a barber as well. So it's in the family already. I started cutting hair. I started cutting my own hair when I was in high school. I started cutting my own brothers. And eventually I just, I got older, and I'm like, I love the art of the barber. So it's just, I love it now. You know what I mean? And I feel like, how can I say? It feels good when I see someone coming in and they need a haircut and then they come out looking fresh, feeling themselves. So that's the best experience.
And you said that you make it an experience. It's not just about the haircut. I was watching a couple of your videos, and I'm seeing these gold masks. I'm seeing hand massages. Where do you
Yes.
get all these ideas from?
It's because I always saw that girls, the women, they take care of themselves. You know what I mean? They get their pedicure, manicure, facials, they get everything done. And I'm like, we're in 2022. We definitely got to take care of ourselves. You know what I mean? So I'm like, as you've seen, and you probably, you see everywhere. Whenever you go get a haircut, it's just a haircut. You go get a haircut, 30 minutes, and you're out of the
Mm.
shop. And for what I wanted to change the game, I'm like, I want to make this more like exclusive service. You know what I mean? I'm in Las Vegas, so I'm like, I got to make it crazy as well.
Right.
You know
We
what I
in
mean?
Vegas, baby.
We're in Vegas, so I'm like, I got to do something different. So I'm like, I got to start hooking them up with facials, pedicure, manicure. I try to do everything, and honestly, it has worked out. And not just that, we also, I don't know if you heard it or seen it. We also cut hair. Me and my brother cut hair at the same time, so you get two barbers at once. So that's definitely different too. Every fighter gets so overwhelmed when they see us cutting their hair together. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on? I feel lost. So
Well, I saw,
yeah,
I think it was UFC 275 that just happened. You had a gentleman with you, so that's your brother.
that's my brother. That's my blood brother. Yes,
That's amazing.
yeah. So it's cool because I feel like we cut hair similar. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Same style. So it has worked for us. It's been perfect cutting hair. And it's crazy because we cut hair. Normally a haircut takes around 40 to 50 minutes, and when I
Wow.
cut hair with him, it takes 15 minutes to 12 minutes. So it's just definitely a different experience.
Is there an experience so far? I mean, you're 2 years into working with the UFC now. Is there one that has stood out in your mind where it kind of just like blew your mind a little bit? Maybe you're,
Volkanovski. I'll be
yeah.
honest. Volkanovski. It's crazy because Volkanovski was, I believe, he was my second champion I did with the UFC, and I had met different fighters. They all act different. They're different ways. And Volkanovski, I was expecting him to be different. Definitely, he's a champ, so I was expecting him to be more like a champ. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's crazy. He's just I don't know how can I explain. He's just personally, he's one of my favorite fighters, and not just that, he became my favorite fighter because the way I met him in person, and it's just he treats you like a normal person. So that was one of my, in a way, my head. It was just like, wow, you know what I mean? He's asking me what do I like to eat, just random questions that you would never talk to a fighter. So I think Volkanovski will be one of my favorite experience that I ever had cutting someone's hair, because we just talk about the random stuff, and it's like I feel like I'm talking to one of my high school friends. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's
I
pretty
like
cool.
that a lot. So how does it work now? Do you like specifically work for the UFC or do the fighters call you? How does that work?
It's kind of both. It's
Yeah.
kind of both. Sometimes whenever they got fighters in the PI, they need a haircut, they contact me from the PI. But sometimes the fighters contact me, or sometimes the managers contact me. So I'm kind of like the guy to contact whenever they're in Las Vegas. So it goes from the management, from the fighter, from the PI. So they got me busy here in Las Vegas. I always tell my fighters. I think I became like a Vegas thing. Like before, they didn't have barber here in Vegas. So now I feel like every time they come to Las Vegas, it's like I have to get a haircut by this guy before
Right.
my fight. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, has that changed your clientele at all, like outside of the UFC?
Yes, definitely. And now I have a lot of the UFC fans. So it's like,
Yeah.
just think about it. If I'm a fan of, let's say, Hamza Shemaya, and then like I see my barber cutting him up, I'll be like, wow,
Right.
you know what I mean? He's my new favorite barber now. So it has helped me a lot, cutting a lot of the UFC fighters, because again, a lot of the fans come to me now, and they're like, please touch me with the same clipper you touch this guy. And I'm like,
Right.
let's go.
I mean, wash it first, but like,
Yeah.
So do you have your own shop?
Yes, I have two shops here in Las Vegas. It's one off the strip and one on the strip. One of them is inside the Aria Resort and Casino. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos there.
Mhm.
Same thing. We like to change the game too. It's a different experience. It's not normal barbershop. It's more like a one-on-one type thing.
Okay.
It's more like an exclusive studio.
Like a
So yeah.
spa almost.
Yes, there you go. There you
Oh.
go. Yeah, we didn't want to say that, but yeah, because you tell the guy it's a spa, it's like, oh, you know what I
They're
mean?
like,
But
I'm
it's
I'm
more
not
like
ready for that.
but it's like a private studio. It's a private studio, and
Cool.
definitely, like again, like I was telling you, I want to change the game, try different things, and I think it's working out. You know what I mean? It's definitely working out.
Yeah, I mean, not many people can say, yeah, I was cutting Cejudo's hair the other day, you know, like that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten like, maybe not with the UFC fighters, but have you ever gotten any like weird requests where you were like, I don't know what I'm doing with that?
Yes, I think so. I don't like to say names, but at one
No.
time I shaved someone's arm, the whole
Okay.
arm, part of the back toy, and that was my first time, and I was like, okay, I never done this before, but okay.
Do you, whatever you need
I'm
to.
like, okay, is that what you want? Let's do it. So yeah, I kind of shaved the whole arms, and I was just like, I was kind of like, I should start offering this service now.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I mean, it's like the new thing, apparently.
Yeah,
And it looks like you have your own line of products. That's amazing.
yes, I got my own hair wax. It's like a hair pomade.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I was tired of using other brands, and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just get my own brand and start pushing it. And it's been really good. A lot of my fighters, they use the brand, and yes, it's killing the game. Hopefully one day we can be in stores. Hopefully.
Yeah, give it a shout out. What's the name? Where can people get it?
Okay, Stylez. It's called Stylez, just like my name. It's called Stylez. It's Stylez pomade. They can find it. We only have it in 2 locations in Las Vegas, inside the MGM, inside the Aria. We don't have it online yet, but
Gotcha.
Whenever people comes in Las Vegas, they can definitely purchase it at the MGM or inside the Aria. So trying to do something different.
So yeah, we gotta get that. You gotta get that online ASAP.
Yes, we gotta. I'm actually working with someone right now. That's my goal to get it online so we can start sending it all over the world.
Yeah. So moving forward, what do you hope to do, with the next 2 years? You've had a pretty awesome 2 years with the UFC. What are your hopes in the future with your brand?
I'm excited and I'm happy, that I'm working with the UFC. It's every year has been different. Definitely different experiences. So, but hopefully, my goal is one day to travel with the UFC, kind of like all over the world with them, kind of like have me on their, you know what I mean? Whenever they're gonna fly in Dubai and Miami and whatever places, that's one of my goals, to start traveling with them and to make it more easier for them. You know what I mean? Because the only time they get a haircut with me is either when they come to Las Vegas or when they're around training in the PI. But my goal, hopefully, next year or soon, I want to start traveling with them so I can make it easier for them and have my service all over.
When's the next time you're linking up with them? Do you know?
Hopefully, from what I have a lot of the fighters that live locally. So I actually got Jocelyn. I forgot her. I suck at last name. Her name is Jocelyn. She has pink hair.
Oh yeah. I saw that one. That came out fire.
Yeah, I did
Hot
her hair.
pink.
So yeah, all pink. Yeah, so I actually have her on Monday because as you know, she's fighting soon. So I have her on Monday. We're gonna do her hair again. She stays here in Las Vegas. So a lot of the fighters that live here in Las Vegas, Brad Tavares. Yeah. A lot of the fighters that stay here, I'll take care of them.
Yeah. Well, hopefully one day I can make it out to Vegas. I'm on the East Coast, so hopefully one day I make it over to Vegas, do some gambling, maybe get a spa day.
Definitely. Actually, one of our locations is half barbershop, half beauty salon.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll take care of you. We got you.
Okay. Jay Santiago from Vegas, thank you so much for your time. This was so much fun.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite and keep killing it. You're killing it yourself, and I appreciate your time and thank you.